Hello friends, I hope you all are doing well and staying safe at your own place. I, CA Pujan Kapadia, welcome you all on my today's lecture on the subject Banking Paper 6. As you all are aware, we had started with a new chapter of non-performing asset in our last lecture, under which we had covered two important points. First was introduction, under which we had studied few points. First of which was under whose recommendation the NPA norms were being recommended. Answer was Narasimha Rao Committee. Prudential norms are with respect to three important points. First is income recognition, second is asset classification, and third is provisions on advances by bank. Now, at the time of doing asset classification, what am I supposed to take care of? There are two important points which are written over here. First is objective criteria. That is, I need to look after the rules which are already stated in the prudential norms. That is, I cannot imply my own knowledge because subjective is something which changes from person to person. Here, it is not the case. So, we need to adopt the objective criteria. And the second is record of recovery, which basically talks about how much time, since how long I am not receiving any money on that particular asset. So I need to check whether the recovery is regular or not. If not, then how much time has been passed since last recovery amount. Next is provisioning. That is, when I'm making any provision on the advances, then I need to consider three important points. First is period for which asset remained non-performing. I came to know that my asset is overdue since more than 90 days. It is non-performing asset, that is NPA. But since how long it has been classified as an NPA, whether 12 months, whether 1 year, more than 1 year, 3 years, how much? That is my first criteria. Second is I need to check whether any security is available or not. And the third is if it is available, what is the realizable value, the market price of that security. Considering all these 3 points, I am going to make appropriate provision which is being stated under prudential norms. So this was the introduction. Secondly, we had taken care of meaning of NPA. As I told you, it can come for 2 mark question under which you need to write this entire slide. First of all, I had explained you that in general sense, loans or advances which are being given by the bank to the customer are the assets for the bank. Now, what is NPA? When an asset ceases to generate income, that is, when the generation of income is stopped from a particular asset, that is, it becomes non-productive, then it is classified as a non-performing asset. Technically saying, it is defined as when the customer fails to pay the amount of either installment or principal or interest on such loan or advance availed by him or her for a period of more than 90 days. This is the most important difference, more than 90 days. Then the asset is classified as a non-performing asset by the bank. So in short, if I want to say, I can add any account which is overdue for more than 90 days. That is, for more than 90 days, I am not receiving any kind of amount, whether I am not receiving the installment totally or the principal component or the interest component. In short, what I was supposed to receive, I am not receiving it for more than 90 days. Then this is known as NPA, that is my non-performing assets. Last point was banks are required to make provisions as per the prudential norms. So basically, NPA is a bad sign for the bank. Higher the number of NPA, poor is the performance of the bank. So the bank always strive to make NPA under control because it is adversely affecting the profitability of the bank. So friends, this is what we had already covered in our last lecture. Today, we are going to commence with the topic of identification of non-performing assets. That when can I identify a particular asset as a non-performing asset? So basically, we know that in general terms, if any asset stands overdue for more than 90 days, we are going to classify it as a non-performing asset. But here, in this particular identification part, we are going to consider the identification of non-performing asset based on different types of loans, like whether it is a term loan, whether it is a cash credit or a overdraft, whether it is an agricultural loan, and so on and so forth. So basically, for different kind of loans, the criteria is more or less going to be the same, but there are certain minute differences amongst the different types of loans, as a result of which we need to look into the same in detail. The first one is for a term loan. Now I hope you all are well aware like what is term loan. Whenever a loan is granted for a longer period of time, it falls under the definition of term loan. Fine. Under which I can give the example of, for example, you are having loan against property. Now in this particular case, it is known as a term loan. Fine. Now let's see what is the identification criteria. If the interest and or the installment remains overdue for more than 90 days, we need to remember one important point. Even if we forget everything in NPA, most important word we are supposed to remember is 90 days. If anything is overdue for more than 90 days, it is going to be classified as an NPA. Now in term loan, it is simple. You are going or supposed to receive installment every month in form of EMI structure. Fine. Now, if you are not receiving either the interest component or the entire installment for that particular time for a period exceeding 90 days, then you are going to consider your term loan as a non-performing asset. I guess this was simpler, right? Now let's move to the technical one. Second is cash credit and overdraft. First of all, I hope you are clear with these words. What is cash credit and what is overdraft? You are going to get a certain limit that you can use up to that limit even if you are not having balance in your account. So basically this limit facility are falling under the part of cash credit and overdraft. What is the major difference between a cash credit and overdraft is, in cash credit a separate account is open. Fine. So basically cash credit is a limit sanctioned by the bank considering the securities you are keeping, considering the profile of the customer, while overdraft is a added advantage you are getting on your existing account. So no separate account is being opened, only you are getting a limit in your existing account that even your balance goes to zero, you are permitted up to a certain limit. For example, say 1 lakh rupees, that up to 1 lakh rupees you can debit your account up to 1 lakh rupees even if there is no balance in your account. This is the case of overdraft. So basically if I want to say what is the basic difference, in cash credit it is a limit which is specially sanctioned to you. It is a totally separate account in a separate form of loan, while overdraft facility is being granted on the existing account that you can overdraw your existing account. Now having known like what is cash credit and what is overdraft, let's understand when a cash credit account or when an overdraft facility is going to be classified as an NPA. Important word over here that you need to learn is out of order. Let's study what is written over here. If the account remains out of order for more than 90 days. So when I'm going to consider cash credit or an overdraft as an NPA, when it remains out of order for more than 90 days. Here the word was it remains overdue. Here I'm using the word out of order. Now let's understand in detail. As account is treated as out of order if, so when I'm going to consider an account as an out of order account, so basically there are three conditions, three criteria that I need to understand. The first is if my total outstanding balance remains constantly in excess of the sanctioned limit or the drawing power. Now let's take an example. I have been sanctioned the limit of rupees 1 lakh by the bank, that even if I am having zero balance in my account, up to 1 lakh rupees, I am having the limit that I can utilize the funds up to additional 1 lakh rupees. So what is the sanction limit? 1 lakh rupees. Now, constantly, if I see my balance, then it is always going to be minus 1.5 lakh or minus 2 lakh. So what I want to say over here is I was sanctioned the limit of 1 lakh rupees, but my account was overdrawn that higher than that my sanction limit, that is 1.5 lakh or 2 lakh rupees. So here you need to understand friends that the sanction limit was 1 lakh, but the outstanding balance मैंने कितना use किया था, it was 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakh rupees. So what they want to say is your outstanding balance remains constantly in excess of your sanction limit. 1 lakh was your limit and your balance was constantly around 2 lakh rupees. So what you have done is you have overdrawn your account, that is जो आपकी लिमिट थी आपने उससे ज्यादा यूज करके रखा है. So if this is the case for more than 90 days, then your account is going to be considered as out of order. So basically this is your first criteria. Or if this is not the case, that is what they want to say is your limit was 1 lakh and you have utilized only 90,000, your balance is 90,000. So in first criteria, you are not falling as an out of order account. If first criteria is not fulfilled, then and only then we are going for the second one. If first criteria is fulfilled, then I'm directly going to declare my account as an out of order. If first criteria is not fulfilled, then I'm going to check the second criteria. What the second criteria says? No credits for more than 90 days in the account. That means if I'm having any overdraft account or if I'm having any cash credit account, if there is no credit entry in that particular account for more than 90 days, it is not, there is not a single transaction which is being credited, that is I have not received any kind of payment, I have not deposited any kind of check in that particular account for how much time period? For more than 90 days. So if this is the case, that is no credit for more than 90 days, then I'm going to consider this as an out of order. So first was your account is overdrawn, that is your outstanding balance is constantly in excess of the sanction limit or the drawing power. If not, then I'm going to check the second one, that is there is no credit for more than 90 days. Even if this is not the case, then and only then I'm going to check the third one, that there is credit. Fine. So second criteria was there is no credit. Third point I'm saying there is credit, but the credit is not sufficient enough to cover the interest debited for the same period. You know that bank is not going to give you this facility to for free. They are definitely going to charge interest on the outstanding balance of your account. Now basically this system is being charged quarterly or a monthly basis. Now what they want to say is, suppose for 90 days the total interest debited was rupees 50,000 and there is credit in your account, but the total credit for those 90 days was only 40,000. So interest debited was 50,000, but the credit in your account was 40,000. So credit was insufficient against the interest debited for that particular period. So if this is the scenario, then your third criteria is going to be hit and your account is supposed to be said as an out of order. So friends, I hope you are clear. When it comes to cash credit or overdraft, we are not going to use the word overdue. Rather, we are going to use the word out of order. That is, if my account remains out of order for more than 90 days, that I am going to classify my particular account as an NPA. What is the criteria? That is when an account is supposed to be told as an out of order account. If my outstanding balance remains constantly in excess of my drawing power. If it is under control, that is my limit was 1 lakh rupees and total outstanding balance is 90,000, so it is under control, under the limit, then I am going to the second condition. Second condition says for more than 90 days there is no credit entry in my account, that is I have not deposited any amount, I have not deposited any check in my particular account, so there is no credit entry within that more than 90 days. Even if there is a credit entry, so I am not going for second condition. Now, the second condition is also not hit, I am going to the third one. There is a credit entry, so there is a credit, but that credit is not sufficient enough to cover the interest debited for that period. That is what I have explained you with an example. The total interest debited over here was 50,000 for a quarter, but the total credit entry for that period was only 40,000. So here my credit is not sufficient enough to cover all the interest debited, as a result of which my third condition is going to be hit, and so my account is going to be considered as an out of order. So basically you need to flow point wise point. First you need to check first. If it is not falling under first, then you are going to check second. Even if it is not going under second, then you are going for the third one. If any of this condition is hit, then you are going to say that your account is out of order and hence you are going to classify it as an NPA. I hope I'm clear with this particular slide. Giving you a moment, take a quick view on all the points which are stated on this particular slide. Well, I hope you are clear with these 2 points. So basically, friends, we are dealing with the answer of identification of non-performing assets. The general rule says if any account stays overdue for more than 90 days, you are going to consider it as a non-performing asset. But as I've explained you, on the basis of different types of loans, this criteria differs in bit. First, we have taken term loan, under which I've given you the example. If any loan which is for a definite time period is going to be considered as a term loan, if any interest amount or an installment amount remains overdue for more than 90 days, it is going to be classified as NPA. For cash credit and overdraft, we had learned that if cash credit or overdraft facility stays out of order for more than 90 days, then we are going to consider it as an NPA. And for out of order, we have taken care of three important points, three important conditions. First is your outstanding balance is in excess of your drawing power or the sanction limit. If not, there is no credit for more than 90 days. If not, there is credit, but it is not sufficient to cover the interest debited. If any of this condition or criteria is hit, then you are going to say your account is out of order. I hope I'm clear with this particular slide. Let's move to the next point. Third type of loan is bill purchased or bill discounted. I hope you are clear with this particular point. What is bill discounting basically? Let's take an example. In a particular case, I have sold goods on credit to Mr. X of rupees 50,000. I have given a credit period of 90 days. So basically, what is the scenario over here? I have sold goods as of now on credit for 90 days of rupees 50,000. So basically, Mr. X is going to pay me 50,000 after 90 days. But today, due to certain reason, I am in urgent requirement of the funds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach the bank and I'm going to ask bank to discount this particular bill. Bank will say, okay, we are going to charge a commission of rupees 1,000 and we are going to immediately pay you rupees 49,000. So basically, this is the bill discounting thing that basically occurs in the practical life. Now, in this particular case, if the bill remains overdue for a discounted period of more than 90 days, that even the 90 days have passed, and after a discounted period, if for more than 90 days, if my amount is overdue, then that bill discounted will be considered as an NPA. So again, the criteria, friends, over here is the same, that you need to consider 90 days criteria only, but here the word is changing. If bill remains overdue for a discounted period of more than 90 days, fine. So we need to focus on the discounted period. So again, more or less it is the same. Basic criteria is 90 days. Let's move to the next type of loan. It is agricultural advances. Now you know India is an agricultural based economy, and at the same time banks are having different kind of products to offer as loan to the agricultural risk. As a result of which, whenever we are going, we as a bank are lending to the agricultural sector, then we need to consider firstly whether I'm giving loan for a short duration crops or for a long duration crops. Now basically, what is short duration and a long duration crops? When a crop is basically growing not only once in a year, that is, let's take an example of certain vegetables. It can grow round the year, fine. It is also growing in winter, it is also growing in summer. So such crops are known as short duration crops. Against which, if I take an example of long duration crops, then let's take an example of mango. Mango basically grow in the summer, fine. In winters we are not going to grow mangoes. So basically these are the crops which grows only once during the entire year. As a result of which, these crops are classified as a long duration crop. This is a general understanding, but fine, I'm not giving you the technical definition of what is short duration crop or what is long duration crop, but in a general sense, practically we can define it as short duration crops are the one which are having the cycle of more than once in a year. So basically they are growing in summer also, they are growing in winter also. While long duration crops are generally the one which are growing only once in a year, like mangoes. Now let's understand what we want to study it from the viewpoint of identification as NPA. First agricultural advance as a short duration crops over here is if I am giving any kind of loan for short duration crops, if the installment of principal or the interest thereon remains overdue for 2 crop seasons. This is important word. Now here we are not having any kind of days like 90 days criteria. Fine. Here we are talking about the crop seasons. Suppose I'm talking about a certain vegetable which is growing twice in a year. So if my installment or principal or interest remains overdue for two crop season, that is, for example, it is growing in summer, entire one crop season, it is again growing in winter, it is a second crop season. Now in these two crop seasons also, if my amount is not being received from the customer, then I'm going to classify that particular account as an NPA. So what you guys need to remember over here is, if it is a short duration crop, you are going to consider two crop season. That is, if your installment or principal or interest remains overdue for two crop season, then you are going to classify it as a NPA account. I hope you are clear. Short duration crops, I gave you the example. If it is growing in summer as well as it is growing in winter. So in a year, it is growing for two times. Now my first crop season was summer. Summer has passed. I have not received any kind of payment. Now it comes winter. Winter again, there was a cultivation of that particular crop. Winter has also passed, but still my customer has not paid me my installment of principal or interest. Now after passage of two crop season, if my amount is still overdue, then I'm going to classify it as an NPA. I hope I'm clear with this. Next is long duration crop. That is generally the crops which are grown only once in a year. Now in this particular case, if the installment of principal or interest thereon remains overdue for one crop season. Now let's talk about mangoes. Mangoes are grown in summer generally. Now the entire crop season has passed and the next crop season is coming. So basically the entire crop season, that is from one summer to another season, another summer. If entire season has passed, entire crop season has been passed, but still if my installment is being overdue, that is, I have not received any amount from my customer, then I'm going to classify that account as an NPA. This is a broad understanding on this topic. In short, you just need to remember from the viewpoint of exam only two things. If it is a short duration crop, you are going to consider two crop seasons. If it is a long duration crop, you are going to consider one crop season. I hope you are clear with both the points of bill discounting and the agricultural advances. And the last point I have written in the box is, an account is classified as NPA only if interest due and charged in any quarter is not serviced fully within 90 days from the end of the particular quarter. Let's take an example to understand this point. Suppose I was having an outstanding facility and my interest was charged from January to March. My interest is due and charged on 31st March. Now my period of quarter is getting over. So I was supposed to make the payment of this interest on 31st March. So my payment of interest became due on 31st March. Now if my amount, that is, I'm not paying that amount for upcoming 90 days also, that is April, May and June, but still I'm not making any payment, so I'm going to consider those 90 days from the end of that particular quarter. This is what they want to say. So when your 90 days are going to start, they are going to start once your quarter ends. So in our case, it is going to start after 31st March. If still for more than 90 days I am not making any payment, then I am going to classify that particular account as a non-performing asset. I hope I'm clear with this particular topic of identification of non-performing assets. I'm just giving you a moment. Take a quick view on these 2 points, that is in case of bill purchase or discounted and in case of agricultural advances. Well, I hope you are clear with this particular slide also. So friends, today we have taken only one topic, the name of which was identification of non performing asset. That is when an asset can be termed as a non-performing asset. So we have seen broadly 4 different types of loan, under which all the loans are basically going to get covered. First is term loan, second is cash credit and overdraft, third is bill purchased and discounted, and fourth is agricultural advances. If any other loans also come across to you, and if the question comes when we are going to consider this as an NPA, we need to imply the simple rule. If the amount which was due either in form of installment or interest or principal is overdue for more than 90 days, then we are going to classify that account as a non-performing asset. So our general rule is always going to remain the same. It is overdue for more than 90 days. I hope you all are clear with today's part. Now let's move quickly to the test your knowledge session, under which I am going to give you 3 MCQs. The rules remain the same. Mark the correct answers. After the end of all the 3 MCQs, we are going to discuss the correct answers. I hope you are ready and your time starts now. Well, I hope you are ready with your answers. So let's discuss them one by one. First question was, under which scenario cash credit will be considered as out of order? Remember, we had 3 criteria. The first criteria was when your outstanding balance is more than your sanctioned limit. In the first option I have written, your drawing power is rupees 1 lakh and your outstanding balance is rupees 90,000. So is your outstanding balance more than drawing power? Answer is no, it is not more than drawing power, it is under the limit. So this is not the correct option. Second condition was there is no credit for more than 90 days in your account. In the second option I have written over here, the total credits for 89 days was rupees 0. So there was no credit for first 89 days, but there was credit on 98th day of rupees 1 lakh. So basically second criteria was talking about if there are no credits for more than 90 days. But here I am having credit on 90th day. So second condition is also not being fulfilled. The third condition was there is credit in your account, but that credit is not sufficient enough to recover your interest debited. Here I am having a credit of rupees 1 lakh against which the interest debited is 90,000. So is it sufficient? Answer is yes, it is more than 90,000. So it is sufficient. So this is also not the correct answer. In short, all the 3 criteria are not being fulfilled over here. So the account is not to be considered as an out of order. So the correct option is option D, none of this. I hope you are now totally clear with this point of what is out of order scenario. So yes, friends, the correct option to this question is option D, none of this. Second question, in case of short duration crops, I hope you are clear now what is short duration crops. Basically those which are having the cultivation period twice in a year. Account is classified as NPA if the overdue for dash crop seasons, overdue for 2 crop seasons. Because it is a short duration crop, we are giving him 2 crop seasons. Against which the third question was, if it is a long duration crop, account is classified as an NPA if overdue for 1 crop season. So if it is a short duration crop, answer is 2. If it is a long duration crop, answer is 1. I hope you are clear with this entire topic of identification of non-performing asset. With this, I, CA Pujan Kapadia, thank you all for your patient listening and hope to see you soon in my upcoming lecture. Thank you, friends.